I can joke and say that the title of Unprepared is very fitting. My running joke is that this slowdown has been like a roller coaster while on an acid trip, because the highs have been yay, and then the bottom is like, oh my god, why is everything burning?
Yeah, it's very weird. Especially we are mostly doing e-commerce, and it is all over the place right now.
Yes. So Old North Collective, we're kind of in the midst of a pivot. We were pivoting before this happened, and this kind of accelerated the pivot. Um, Historically, we've been a full service marketing agency, everything from web development, marketing automation, content marketing, omni-channel advertising, etc. Um, Beginning of the year, we ended up becoming solutions partners for NetSuite, and we kind of started making a pivot into the business side uh, of helping companies. So one of the things that we found when doing marketing help is that we've just seen a lot of consistent business process issues, to where we wanted to build out the expertise and the ability to help with those issues. And in a way, it also kind of makes us a little bit more sticky and more likely to survive a recession. Little did I know, the recession was around the corner, and it was a full stop, and it hit a brick wall. Um,
Yeah, we would joke about it internally at the agency. I'm not gonna lie. Like we're like, oh, the recession's coming. We got to get prepared. And then it was like the recession's here. I don't know if you guys
it,
noticed it. The world's like at a
yes,
pause.
it was like Jeremy Clarkson drove a semi truck through a brick wall, and everybody's like, "What the heck just happened?"
Awesome. So for those that kind of don't know, what is NetSuite, or like what is NetSuite, or like any of the products that are like it? Like how do you utilize that in your business, and why do you need it?
Yeah, so it basically stands for ERP. Typically, mid market and enterprise companies use ERPs, although NetSuite is actually affordable for small business. Most of NetSuite's clients are actually small business and mid market, not actually enterprise. It is going to be all of your financials, it's your CRM, it is your inventory management, it is your manufacturing management. If you get Suite Commerce, it's your e-commerce CMS is directly vertically integrated into your inventory manager. It is your payroll management, it is your project management. It's basically the software that runs your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do. Some of our clients is actually use NetSuite, and they're on probably more in the million plus range is when you're going to start really looking into having something like this. It probably doesn't make much sense below that, in my opinion. But I don't know. You're definitely anytime someone talks about ERPs, I'm like, that's not our space.
So I would say that the average NetSuite sale is actually rather small. It's about 40K a year. So if you were a $500,000 organization that could run more efficiently and could handle, a 40K a year expense, it's justifiable. If you're running all right and you think you can scale on current processes, stay on current processes, scale a little bit more, and then really having the ERP makes you more efficient as you get larger. So you're able to automate business processes and maximize employee hour usage.
Absolutely. Now, during this time, what do you think is like something that small businesses should probably focus on, since they
Yeah.
probably have a lot more free time right now than normal?
Yeah.
What would you say? Where would you spend the time? Where would you gain knowledge?
I think, where our conversations have been during this time is marketing automation and ERPs. The reality is that for some companies, you have arterial blood spurt and you have to figure out how to make the bleeding stop. Um, at least get down to a slow bleed. But having a slow bleed for a very long time, you're going to bleed out. So the ERP helps you understand from a data flow perspective what's actually happening in your business. And if you can put metrics on things, measure processes, and automate things, you end up building more capacity. So if you currently are having two people running your books and your inventory manager, by going to something like an ERP, you're able to bring that down to one individual, part of the time a month. You're able then to use those payroll hours to go elsewhere. So like one of the things that is amazing to me about, the small business NetSuite instance is that if you manage your accounts receivable and accounts payable, your general ledger does its own thing. You don't actually have to keep the general ledger. As long as you set it up correctly, your books are keeping themselves. Mm-hmm. So if you don't regularly have to engage somebody for your general ledger, your overall costs go down a little bit, and you just have to spend, maybe one day a month making sure that they're good. And then you engage your CPA like once a quarter. So it's, if you set it up right, it kind of runs itself.
Yeah. And I think just even taking it a step back from there, and it's like just making sure you have the processes to begin with and understanding, what these programs can help you automate. I think that's kind of something that people screw up, is they like hear of an awesome program that's going to do this cool thing for them, but then they like don't do the work to like make it work for them.
So that's actually a real point. Something like 60% of ERP implementations actually fail because most people don't put through the change management, the risk mitigation, the business process mapping, or even executive alignment. Does everybody in the organization want to get the same things out of it? How is this actually going to change my job? Are we going to actually plan for that? What are the potential risks that go to this? So if we're going with a new inventory manager, like, are we ready for this to go live? Are we thinking through all the worst case scenarios so that we can mitigate them while we implement? Do we understand business processes enough that we can actually set things up? Tailing that into marketing automation, those are the same reasons why like email fails. If you don't understand who you're writing to, how are you going to expect them to actually open the mail or not hit go to spam?
Awesome. I'm trying to keep these short and sweet. So is there anything that I didn't ask you about today that you think's worthwhile to leave on?
Yeah. So I think from a business process perspective and email perspective, understand business process mapping, regardless of whether you have an ERP or you're running, QuickBooks and some other processes for inventory management, things like that. Like, understand how data moves inside your organization. Understand why you're doing things, regardless of software, and then make the software fit how everything's moving internally. And what you'll find is that you will make blood flow stop, and then you can start to recover from inefficient processes or money just hemorrhaging out because processes are wrong. Second thing, from a marketing automation perspective, understand who your target market is. Who are the common business or who are the common personas that buy your product? If you can understand who your target market is and who 6 to 8 people, like generic people, what they look like. If you write content to them, your engagement rates and revenue end up going up because you're writing content that people want to engage with.
Awesome. Thank you so much.